in this session, I'm going to discuss about soil degradation. Okay, so the model question which we are going to discuss is India is witnessing persistent soil degradation. Discuss. See, before going into this question, actually this topic is in current affair. So you can expect this question for this year's mains, either related with soil erosion or related with soil pollution, or like generally soil health or loss of fertility of soil. Okay, so these things are in current affairs, so should write an answer for this model question. And now coming back to the question, again this is actually a discuss kind of question, right? So the things which you have to address in this question is regarding soil degradation. What are the causes of soil degradation and what are the impacts and how we can solve this problem of soil degradation. Okay, now let's see which all points you can write in the model answer. First thing, as an introduction, you can say that, start with saying what is soil degradation. Soil degradation simply means the loss of soil quality. Okay, it can be either through erosion, pollution, or alkalinity, salinity, or desertification. All these things results in the loss of soil quality. That we generally call it as soil degradation. Okay, so you can start your answer by saying what is soil degradation. And now, in order to substantiate that this problem is relevant in India's case, you can say that you can use this fact: around 50% of our geographical land area is facing the threat of degradation. Okay. Now the major subheading regarding this question or the soil degradation is how is soil degradation caused. Okay, so there are causes. Mainly the soil degradation, they are caused through three types, or you can say three processes, which is soil erosion, soil pollution, and soil alkalinity or salinity. And among them, the soil erosion is very, very important. Either they can separately ask regarding soil erosion as well as soil pollution. Okay, so this should be the first cause of soil degradation, which is soil erosion. Now, soil erosion simply means the loss of topsoil. We call it as soil erosion. It means like the topsoil is the most fertile soil, right? And due to the actions of wind or like due to the actions of water, this topsoil getting carried away from one place can result in soil, or that process we call it as soil erosion. But we are not having enough word limit to address how the soil erosion is taking place. We cannot write regarding the wind erosion or water erosion. Don't deviate from the answer. So stick with how is soil erosion being caused. Okay, so the things which I have listed here are the major factors through which the soil erosion is caused. The prime reason is deforestation and followed by overgrazing. Both of things, what happens is that if you are deforesting or overgrazing is there, what happens is that the vegetation cover will be lost and the surface runoff, whether through the water as well as the wind erosion, they will be more stronger. Okay, so deforestation and overgrazing, especially the overgrazing taking place in hilly slopes, can result in soil erosion. Next is faulty methods of agriculture. In the sense, if you are doing more tillage, okay, if you are doing excessive tillage is there, or if you are practicing or if you are not practicing contour plowing in the hilly slopes, these kind of things can increase the surface runoff. Contour plowing means plowing the land in right angle to the hilly slopes. If we are plowing the land in the right angle, it will reduce the surface runoff. But if you are plowing in the linear manner, it will increase the surface runoff, right? So if in a region, if the farmers, if they are following faulty agriculture practices, it can result in soil erosion, as well as like if crop rotation is not properly done, okay, the quality of the soil will be lost. So generally we can say that faulty methods of agriculture. Then other 2 points which I can bring up here is unplanned urbanization and illegal mining. Unplanned urbanization in the sense, suppose in floodplains, we know that when flood happens or if the river is overflowing, it will go through the floodplain, right? Through unplanned urbanization, this natural drainage will get blocked. Okay, and if you are not channelizing this flood water, it will result in more flooding and it will result in more stronger soil erosion will be there. Okay, so address these points, unplanned urbanization as well as illegal mining. Address those points if only your word limit allows you to do so. Now another aspect you have to bring under the soil erosion is the case of natural factors. Now all the things which we have discussed so far is regarding anthropogenic effects or anthropogenic factors. Now this regarding the natural factor, the soil erosion is dependent on the type of the rainfall as well as the topography of the land. Suppose if you are having a steeper slope, more soil will be eroded away, and if you are having heavy downpour, the more soil erosion will be there. During the monsoon time, especially in the hilly regions, we will be having more persistent soil erosion will take place. Now the cause of soil degradation is actually soil pollution. Now what soil pollution simply means, contamination of soil. The contamination of soil is actually taking place through three processes. Actually, like the agrochemical pollution, in the sense, we are using we are using excessive fertilizers. Okay, among our farmers, there is a notion that if we use more fertilizer, it can result in more agriculture output, which is wrong actually. Okay, that we should address under the solution also. So here, like more fertilizers as well as pesticides and insecticides using or their usage can result in soil pollution. Okay, and other thing is like industrial pollution as well as urban pollution. Industrial pollution, it's related with the improper solid waste management. Okay, if we are not disposing the solid waste properly, especially from the industries like say electronic waste or direct industrial waste, water effluents, what it happens is that it will contaminate the soil, so that our agriculture productivity come down, or it will result in the soil degradation. Same goes with the case of urban pollution. Okay, if you are not properly managing construction dust, it can clog the natural drainage, which will result in more soil erosion or more soil pollution, as well as in the case of like sewage waste. If you are not properly treating that, or if you are dumping the plastic waste, all these things can result in the soil pollution. Next is actually soil alkalinity or salinity. Okay, soil alkalinity, it means the pH value or simply the soil getting more alkaline or saline in nature. What happens is that it can either happen through natural process or through the anthropogenic effect. Natural process in the sense, if the more weathering taking place in this saline rocks, okay, this can result in increase the salinity of the soil. At the same time, if you are over irrigating the land, what happens is that more evaporation will take place, and the salt from the subsurface will percolate through the topsoil, which will make this soil saline. Okay, so regarding the soil degradation, how it is being caused? Through soil pollution, soil erosion, as well as soil salinity. Now let's see how we can, or what are the impacts of this soil degradation. Now here in this question, the major subheadings are causes as well as like the solutions. So you should limit your word limit regarding the impact. So try to bring up only the important impacts regarding the impacts of soil degradation. So here the major impact is the loss of soil fertility, as well as direct impact is fall in agriculture productivity. Okay, through soil degradation, through erosion, pollution or salinity, the fertility of the soil will be lost, the nutrient content it will be lost. So that we will be needing more fertilizers to be used in the soil, and this can reduce the agriculture. This can again result in soil degradation, as well as the loss of soil fertility will result in the fall in agriculture productivity. Okay, next is like a biodiversity loss, as well as it aids desertification, results in wasteland, and the another thing is regarding the intensity of floods, drought and landslides. Okay, if we are having soil degradation, these disasters, their intensity will increase, especially like soil erosion is related with landslides. In the down valley regions or the down valley regions of hill slopes, with more soil erosion, more landslide will take place, resulting in huge destruction, as well as the case of drought and flood. If the topsoil is getting eroded away, or if the topsoil is getting saline, okay, water percolation to the ground surface will be very less. So during the monsoon time, if we are having heavy downpour, sudden floods will be there. Okay, flash floods will be there, as well as like if the groundwater is not getting replenished, it can result in drought conditions. So these are the important impacts or effects related with the soil degradation. Now let's see how we can solve this problem of soil erosion, that we call it as soil conservation. Simply soil conservation means solving the problem of or maintaining the soil quality, we call it as soil conservation. It is can related with erosion, pollution, alkalinity or anything related with the which is impacting the or affecting the soil quality. Now, prime thing, afforestation, need not explain, I suppose. Then checking overgrazing. Now, changing agriculture practices. Now, if you are addressing this point, make sure you bring up, certain points. Now, regarding the conservation technique, the agriculture practices or sustainable agriculture practices are the important suggestions or the conservation techniques. Okay, so the prime, important things which you can bring under the agriculture practice is one, intelligent crop rotation. If again, like if you are, in majority of our land regions, we are not rotating crop. This will reduce the soil fertility. In the sense, like a particular crop will be using a certain nutrient itself, and the soil will be devoid of that particular nutrient. Okay, so more fertilizer needed, resulting in more pollution. Okay, another suggestion is regarding the use of early maturing crop varieties. This can actually reduce the pressure on soil if you are using the early maturing crop varieties. In the sense, suppose if you are cultivating paddy or sugarcane or generally like water intensive crops in a region which is having very less rainfall, so that more irrigation should be there, more fertilizer should be there, right? So that this can add more pressure on soil degradation, or it can result in soil degradation. Then micro irrigation. It is expensive, but it is a more sustainable solution in order to solve the problem of over irrigation. It can reduce the erosion as well as it can reduce the alkalinity or salinity of soil. Then changing cropping pattern. Again, it's more related with the early maturing varieties. The water intensive crops should be cultivated in a region which is having more annual rainfall. Okay, and drought resilient or like crops which need very less water should be cultivated in regions having less rainfall, especially in the current scenario where the rainfall in the peninsular region it is getting reduced. We should be cultivating more drought resilient crops in the peninsular regions, and the more water intensive crops it should be shifted towards our eastern regions or northeastern regions. Next is reviving age-old practices of soil regeneration. In the sense, in local areas like our indigenous farmers, they have been using age-old techniques which are very sustainable in nature. In the sense, it will not be adding pressure to the soil. So if we can revive those techniques and if we can pass on that knowledge to other farmers, that will be a sustainable solution in the long term. And then another core point that should come under your solution is educating farmers. I already told you there is a notion among the farmers that more fertilizer, more productivity, which is actually wrong. Okay, and it can impact the long-term sustainability of the soil. Okay, long-term, the soil will be losing its fertility in the long term, right? And how we can solve that problem? Through the educating farmers. And another important point or suggestion is actually soil health card scheme. It is actually in current affair, and soil health card scheme, it means the government will be collecting samples of each soil throughout the nation, and they will be analyzing which kind of nutrients is devoid in this soil, and that kind of fertilizers will be provided to the soil. Okay, so if this can be implemented throughout the nation, in the long term it can sustain it can solve the problem of soil degradation, and it can result in soil fertility. Okay, actually the soil health card scheme, it came into being under the Gujarat government, and it's actually a nationwide scheme right now, and if we can implement it throughout the nation, it will solve this problem of soil degradation to some extent. And another, implementing soil waste management rules. In 2016, actually the government amended the solid waste management, and again, as in the other cases, implementing these rules, strict implementation or regulation is necessary for this. It can reduce the problem of soil pollution. So if you are doing all these conservation techniques related with the farming as well as related with the anthropogenic effects, we can solve this problem of soil degradation. Now regarding, or how we will conclude this answer, by saying either you can say that the importance of soil conservation, or like the need to be why the soil should be conserved. As a matter of fact, you can use this fact for concluding your answer. Our entire global land area is around 2.5 percentage, and it supports 16% of the total human population, as well as it supports 20% of the global livestock population. So if our soil it is getting degraded, I mean we cannot sustain this many population as well as livestock population, right? So it is very imperative that we are conserving our soil. And another thing, I mean a quote which you can use in this context is Swasthadhara Khedhara, which is related with the soil health card scheme. Okay, healthy earth and green farm. Now regarding this question, we have discussed so much content regarding this question, right? You need not write all the content into your answer, like it will come out as around 300 words, but you can write only 200 words. You should write only 200 words, right? So you have to give more importance to the causes as well as like the solutions part. Okay, address that part with majority of word limit and conclude your answer by saying the importance, and you can make use of this quote also.